So you all don't have any questions, at least understood what was discussed yesterday? So because this will be a follow-up session from yesterday's class, if you all did not really understand, let me know, okay? Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just get into a little bit detailed on the ABM part. Okay, so there are three things, right? Okay, so for first, from the admin perspective, I think we covered yesterday. I showed you screenshots, but this time what we'll do, we'll have a parallel screening, screen share where we can see, like, the video recording here. What it shows is what we do in parallel. Okay, so in the admin portal. Okay, assume this is what an admin does. Okay, so if you want to implement Apple Business Manager in Intune, it's a one-time job. Okay, so but you really need to understand why do we do it? What are the steps that we need to do it? Okay, from admin standpoint, what the thing is, if you look at this, okay, so 1 second, minimize all my screen. 1 second.
Is it possible to share all the PPTs or whatever we are using during this session?
Yes, I think most of them I've already put that, but I'll just cross check that folder. What is not there, I will drop it.
Okay,
Everything.
sure.
Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Sorry guys, there's some problem here. I really wanted to get the PPT going, but okay. So this is the admin flow. Okay. So the documentation is pretty clear actually. If you look at it, so what I'm not using my headphone. Okay. So if it is not clear, I'm not loud enough for you guys, let me know. Okay. So my headphone is getting charged. Okay. So that is so. This documentation, when you actually look at the iOS setup device enrollment program, right? It clearly explains, okay, for the first time users, it really explains what is exactly the DEP program and what is the supervised mode. Okay. So, and then you can get into details, okay, about Apple School Manager here and then Apple Configurator. Okay. So, but this page itself has complete information on prerequisites, how to get an Apple DEP, enrollment profile, sync, manage devices. All we actually discussed these three things. These are the things that needs to be done for any Apple Business Manager deployment. Okay, so the prerequisites, it just talks about what are the brand new devices, what are the models of devices it supports. Okay, that's the thing we already discussed. So get a new Apple DEP token. We know, right? Just go to the portal, download, go back to the ABM, which will be shown here, and then download a token from there and take the token and upload in Intune. So that synchronization is done. Once we do that, all of the devices that you purchase from the Apple reseller will start reflecting on your Intune console. In that Intune console, you need to select a device and assign a profile. So we are done. And that is when you distribute the devices, assigning an enrollment profile to devices and then distribute the devices. And every year or thing, you need to renew a DEP token. So that's the only steps. Let's see how it actually works. So this is your console. Okay. So in the enrollment pro, okay. So in the enrollment program tokens, you need to download the public key, right? This screenshot that you see is exactly the document that you read in the documentation. So you need to download the public key. Okay. And go sign into this deployment program. Okay. And this is the first screen that you get. You go to deploy.apple.com, you have, this is the page you see. Now it might be renamed using Apple Business Manager or School Manager, but you need to click on Get Started, okay, and create an MDM server. Okay, click on Next, choose the file that you downloaded from the Intune portal, right? And then choose the file, upload it, and click Next. Okay, so once you do that, you'll get a server token, and you just need to click Save, and it will be done. Okay, so these will be managed devices. Okay, so this, you can start adding your serial numbers, is you can manually add. Okay, but usually manually addition is not possible. This is how, I mean, here we're only managing the devices. Okay, so for this serial number, we need to assign a server, the server that I just created. Remember, for every company, there is only one Apple Business Manager account. Okay, they will not give you, like, if 3 or 4 different accounts, but you can have 3 or different MDM solutions. You can have Intune, you can have VMware Workspace one, you can have IBM Master 360 or any other products you can have. But for this device, which MDM solution I am selecting is, this is where you choose assign to server, and then this I selected. If you drop down, you'll probably have another MDM solution that you actually created. Okay, so just click on OK, and the assignment is complete. Okay, so this is how the Apple Business Manager portal looks like. Okay, these are all the order numbers, and these are all the MDM servers. Okay, and this is the number of the devices that you see. Okay, so usually this will not be the case. This is a test environment. Okay, so if it is in your case, you will only three or four order numbers, and the number of devices will be 50, 100, 200, like that. Okay, and for per order number, you will assign one MDM server only. Okay, if at all you have a old MDM server, like if you're changing from one MDM solution to another MDM solution, you will probably have another two. Okay, one or two. Apart from that, you'll not see so many things. Okay, and then this is what you enter, the one that you downloaded previously in the step 2, right? You come here, which is in P7 form, and then create. So this is how it appears. Okay, I can just use this. There's only one profile. And you see, for this enrollment token, you have devices and profile. Okay. So if you click devices and click on synchronize, this will now go and contact Apple Business Manager and get all the devices that are assigned to your Intune MDM solution. Okay. You check this previous thing here. We selected this serial number here in Intune. It means that this serial number will now sync to, if I click synchronization, it will now synchronize that here. As you can see, that device is now synchronized here. Now I got my device from ABM to Intune. Now I can select this device and click on assign profile here. Okay, and for that you need to create a profile, right? So if you click on profiles, you need to create a profile. So click on create profile. So this is what the profile looks like, right? Okay, so if the name is my profile, user affinity, okay, a very important item here, enroll with user affinity. If I drop down, it will come enroll without user affinity. So enroll with user affinity is the user is actually there. Okay, so he will enter his username and password. It is his device. It is attached to a username. Enroll with you without user affinity is there is no user for it. Okay, so usually those without user affinity are kiosk kind of devices. Okay, so there are some limitations for kiosk devices. Okay, so where username doesn't enroll, IT actually does this. Okay, they power on the machine, they connect to the internet, and then the deployment profile will download, and you don't need to enter anything, it will automatically deploy. But when you click on, when you use the user affinity, it will come and stop near username and password, where you need to click on username and password. There are two things. Okay, so one is company portal and setup assistant. People who have used Apple setup for the first time when they're setting up the devices, that is called Apple Setup Assistant. They can move with Apple Setup Assistant, and later company portal will come where you need to sign in. But here it says authenticate with company portal instead of Apple Setup Assistant. Okay, a new thing that was added like a few years back. There you can click on yes. It means that once you authenticate to the company portal, two things happens. Okay, it also enrolls and logs in, and then it also moves forward without your, you can skip the Apple Setup Assistant part. And you'll have, if you click on config, there are two things here, like no device management settings and setup assistant customization. Okay, so what is meaning of this is device management settings. Okay, so if you click on configure setting, as you can see, this is where you select, do you want your device to be changed to a supervised device? Okay. So as I was saying yesterday, you can convert an Apple device to a supervised device by only two methods. One is you can connect physically to your Mac machine and use Apple configurator to convert your normal iOS device to a supervised device. Okay. And the second way, and the only way, which is the second way, two methods, is using this ABM here. Right away in the Intune console, you can select supervised. Okay. So Intune is not the only thing. Okay. So any other MDM solution can also change the um, no, a device to a supervised mode. Okay. So remember, one is Apple configurator, the other is MDM enrollment. Okay. With ABM. So this is where you select a device to be in the supervised mode. And you can see this is a locked enrollment. So locked enrollment is where a user cannot unenroll himself. You cannot remove the device from management. It will always be managed. Okay. So this is now deprecated, so you don't need to worry about this. Okay. So that is, if you have a computer or a link to it, it will show. So this is setup assistant customization. Okay, so you can hide or show all of these. For the first time when you are setting up Apple devices, you get all this information. You can hide all this. Okay, so you can just also write the IT department name and the department phone number here in the initial setup screens. If someone needs to contact for help, you can just change it to all hide and then just create the button here. Okay, once we create, this profile will be created and this is how it looks like. We have properties. It's the same what we have looked at so far, but we have, when you click on assigned, okay, so sorry, when you click on assigned, it now shows the devices. And here, since I don't have a devices, I can click on add devices and select the devices that I want. Okay, and then click on add here. And now for this device, this profile is assigned. Okay. So this is how the profile should be assigned. You have a device, you purchased it, and then someone has added to ABM portal, and that device is now synced to Intune here. And in Intune, you have assigned a profile, right? Now, when you power on the machine, when you power on the device now directly contacts the Apple Business Manager and says, okay, for this serial number, there is an Intune profile associated to it, which is linked to this Intune MDM solution. And then the profile comes down, and the profile, all has all the information, like which service to contact, which URLs to contact, and then as soon as it contacts, it'll ask you for your Azure AD information and all of that. Okay, so alternatively, you can actually, there are so many profiles, you can set it as a default profile. So now the administration part is done. Okay. So now let's look at how the user, how user experience on his iOS device looks like. Okay. So let me start a video. Okay. This is a video. So as you power on and connect the machine, this is what it shows, right? Remote management. Microsoft will automatically configure your iPad. Okay. That is the solution they are using. So what does remote management do? Okay. It explains some lines here. And then So it's all installing configuration from Microsoft. It can be your company, you can rename that, all that, okay? So as you can see, it immediately needs a password because it's the minimum, the profile that it received was a passcode configuration. Okay. So this is a very basic setup, but this was how it was some time back. Okay. So we have, and here in this case, the problem is we need to enter Apple ID. It has to be user's Apple ID. Okay. So that was a big challenge. So, every Apple device needs to be having a Apple ID, just like how every Android device should have a Gmail account. Just like every Apple device also needs to have an Apple ID. So when you enroll the device with Intune, you entered your corporate username and password. Okay. But after all that, you also need to enter the username and password of Apple ID, which has to be your ID. So imagine this, okay? You cannot ask everyone to keep entering Apple IDs, okay? Some might have, some might not have. Okay, and hence, so Apple came up with a solution, and Microsoft and Apple joined together. They come up with the solutions known as managed Apple ID. Okay, so managed Apple ID is nothing but, okay, we'll talk about that. Okay, wait 1 second, let the enrollment finish here. So same experience. Okay, so begin enrollment, device manage, update device settings, and you're done. Okay. So now let's look at the legacy setup assistant steps. Okay.
So, Raj, I have a question for devices, Apple devices, like corporate managed Apple devices. Do they require a separate Apple ID, or the corporate ID is only enough for them?
I'll come to that. Okay. So
Okay.
I'm just telling you uh, how it was like few years back. There are some people who continue to use this way. Okay, where they tell the users enter your own Apple ID. If not one, create one. Okay. So this was there for a long time. This is how it was. Okay. First, you power on, you enter your corporate account, you enroll, you do everything, and then Apple device now recognizes that, okay, this device does not have an Apple ID, it will prompt you for Apple ID. Then the IT team told almost all the users to create your own Apple ID, or if you have, most of the people have Apple IDs. Okay, they are already using Apple phones, right? So if not, they'll create one. Okay. So they use Apple IDs, and then many people started complaining, like, not everyone has Apple IDs, and they don't want to enter their personal Apple IDs in their corporate phones or devices. Okay. So there are many other reasons. Okay. So if you enter synchronization stops, okay, people have iPads at home, Macs at home, and then iPhone at home. All of these devices are synchronized with the same Apple ID. And when you give him the corporate laptop, he does not want to enter the Apple ID in his corporate laptop. Okay, sorry, iPad or iPhone. So then the reason why he doesn't want to enter it because the device, he doesn't want the device to be showing under his Apple ID account as four devices and then synchronize among all the data, like purchasing services, app store services, all of that is a mess. Okay. So many users they don't want to use their Apple IDs in the corporate iPhones. Okay, but still someone were doing it. Okay, and I'll come back exactly to that. Okay, that is a new thing that's added. Okay, this is the same thing here, but next you click on next here. Okay, and now this is your username and password. Okay, that is what it is. Okay, now the company portal experience I will show you. After all that, company portal will identify the DP device in the company portal via serial number. Okay, you just need the company portal will experience the same thing again. You enter your username and password, and then same thing happens. Okay, so this is done. It asks you for the last 4 digits of your character, of your serial number, and then this all this was some time back. It is very important to understand how it has changed. If I suddenly show you the easier process, then you will not even know what it is. Okay, so this was all there for a long time, and many people are not implemented the federation part. Okay, Azure AD and Apple Business Manager Federation part. Okay, so now just want to skip this. Yeah, I'll come back to the next one. Now we'll talk about managed Apple ID. Okay. Okay. So what we will talk about today is two things. Okay. What you're seeing is was there for a long time. Even the reason why I wanted to explain that is many students, many people were asking like, no, this is what they use in their organizations. Okay. But now people who want to change it, it's not easy to change it. Okay. So we were talking about these things yesterday. Okay. We'll see now how the Apple Business Manager has now completely changed. When I say change, it made it simpler. Okay, where the user does not really have to enter his own Apple ID. Okay, so instead of creating an Apple account, what the Microsoft and ABM came up is you can actually synchronize Apple Business Manager and your Azure AD. Okay, what it does when you do it, when you federate it, they call it as federation. And when you federate it, every user who signs in or enrolls the device with Apple device, the first name that you see, right, username, like, for example, Vinod at wipro.com, okay, or Vinod.kumar at wipro.com. What it actually does is the ABM will create a managed Apple ID with Vinod.kumar at wipro.com only. You understood what I'm saying? So the password also is now the same. So
So that means using their corporate account, it will temporarily or whatever, it will
yes,
create a
you are right.
Apple.
The word temporary is also correct. Okay, as
Okay. Oh,
long as
cool.
you're when I say temporary, as long as you have that device active, that Apple device will be active. No, sorry, Apple ID will be active.
In
So
the, if the Apple device is given to someone else, then the account will get deactivated or it will get deleted. Then.
correct. That is what it's
Oh,
happening.
okay.
Okay, it's a simple federation concept where you enter your first. Nothing is there in your Apple portal. No Apple IDs. Okay, so Apple ID, there is no Apple ID. You enter, you join a company, they give you a device, you enter vinod.kumar at wipro.com. At that point of time, it creates an Apple ID with the same name, okay, and same password. So password, when I say password, password is federated. It goes to back to Azure AD and authenticates. But an Apple ID with that name is created. Password, it goes and checks to Azure AD. So you don't need to enter, end user doesn't need to enter anything. Okay, you'll see it a little more detail here. Okay. So what we'll discuss before that, we'll talk about shared mode. Okay. I mean, the reason why I'm wanted to talk these two things is it's related to shared mode. Okay. So shared iPad is a technology that is created by Apple themselves. Okay. It's not Intune or it's not any other MDM. People did not do it. So Apple realized that iPad is used in schools, colleges, universities, or hospitals. Everyone are using on a shared mode basis. Okay. When I say shared iPad, it's just like, okay, so signing out and signing out. It's like a cyber cafe. Okay. It's like a browser. Okay. You will log into the browser, you use your Gmail account, you check your all emails and sign out and come. The other person gets in. Okay. So he'll log into his Gmail account and then signs out and then comes in. Okay, there are multiple things. Similarly, when my shift starts, someone gives me an iPad. I sign in with my proper account, okay, corporate account, and use my iPad. Okay, and then sign out and give that iPad to the next person in the shift. And then he signs in. Okay, he gets all his apps. He's already there. Okay, so he gets a shared data. So the shared iPad is where the hard drive of the iPad itself, like if you have 32 GB or 62 GB, is broken down into multiple shares of storage to a person. Okay, how all that is calculated, how much how much space is given to each person, all that algorithm is a bit different. Whoever logs in first will stay there, whoever logs out. So it's first in, first out method kind of thing. Okay, so I'll show you the graphics part of it. So we'll talk about shared iPad. And before that, okay. So now, yesterday I showed a little bit of ABM. Okay. And today, as soon as we entered the class, it was a refresher. Okay. But what you see here, if you did not really understand any of this, it's a third time repetition. The only reason why I have kept different formats and different things is because we will not have labs. You will never have labs if you have not worked. Okay. So only if you have a production environment, you will get a lab, and the person who has already done it, if he goes, I mean, if he is during, it's a one-time task, right? People who have done it and gone and handed over the project to you will again probably never see it. Okay? It's a one-time thing. So yeah, so it's just about a pure explanation about shared iPad. It is used only in education, but also in businesses. Multiple users can use, okay, even if it's a personal device. So as you can look at this, okay, so shared iPad requires a mobile device management solution and a managed Apple IDs that are issued and owned by organization. Okay, so if iPad 13.4 or later, any user has the ability to initiate a temporary session with the need. Okay. So this is the basic requirement. Okay. He can log out and log in. And this is the iPad shared mode. Okay. It's not possible with iPhones. Okay. It's only with iPads. So this is how the shared iPad experience works. Okay. So if you have a 32 GB, so it allocates some of the 16 GB, 10 GB or 8 GB to system and apps and media. Okay, and then rest of all that is broken into 4 or 5 people. Okay, the same thing happens if you have 5 users logging in. It's broken into 5, and you can decide how many users can log in the profile. In the Intune profile that you create, 1 2 3 4 5, have selected here 5, and if you collect 6 also, this again will broken down into, it allocates the space equivalently, okay, to each and every user. So this is how it looks. Okay, so this is how it looks. Okay, so this is, for example of sixth grade guys. A single iPad is given to so many students here. Okay, they can log out and log in, do all of their work, and then log out. So let's see the how the high level architecture works. Nothing like architecture. Okay, so it's a carrier and a device, a personal device. You actually use the device serial number into ABM, the MDM server. And this MDM server, then it's synchronized into the MEM is the endpoint manager, which is Intune. And then comes the ADE token, which you entered, you do the device synchronization and then ADE profile. And this is the ADA profile and the devices. And then this is Apple activation service. Just give me a minute. And so I'm not sure if you all guys are hearing some disturbance. Okay, so but I'll just move on. Okay. So you see this AD, yeah. So this profiles in activation service, and then this MDM server comes in, and then this Apple ID, the same thing. Okay. Now we'll talk about what is managed Apple IDs. So Apple IDs, or sorry, a managed Apple ID is belongs to a company. Okay, it's a unique to a company. Okay, administrator can create as many as managed Apple IDs as possible. Okay, but it is very manual task. Earlier, we need to create some managed Apple IDs and then give it to users so that they use their managed Apple IDs. Okay, so it was a complex process where they have to create manually. Okay, but what if 100 or 1,000 users who need managed Apple IDs and they cannot, the tracking itself is difficult, and hence the managed Apple ID is now federated to your Azure AD so that you don't need to create any of the managed Apple IDs, and hence it is yeah, there is no manual process involved. Okay, so they don't need to remember any accounts at all. Okay, so the difference between managed Apple ID and personal Apple IDs is here personal Apple ID belongs to you, but the managed Apple ID, IT administrators can manage services for that Apple ID. Okay, so based on Apple ID, they can enable and disable some of the services. Okay, like force MFA, download something, App Store purchases. Okay, all that things. Okay, so managed Apple IDs, as you know, are business purposes only. So certain features are disabled to protect each organization, and they cannot make any purchases. Okay, so if you have only personal Apple ID, you can make purchase, but if it's a managed Apple ID, you cannot go to Play Store, sorry, App Store, and then purchase. And with federated authentication, you can connect your Apple Business Manager to Azure Active Directory, enabling employees to use their existing username and passwords as managed Apple IDs. That was the change since last 2 years, and it has made ABM very easy to deploy for most of the IDs. Okay, so how do you know if you are using a managed Apple ID? If you actually log into your appleid.apple.com, you can actually see. Okay, so if you see organization, then it's a managed Apple ID. Okay, and you also see that you can see account security and all. Okay, and then you'll see not using security SQ email. Okay, so there are few things which it shows you an Apple ID, or if it's not, then it is not an Apple ID. Okay, so basically something like Outlook, all that. Okay, it's a thing. Okay, so here the organization is important. If you see organization, it means that you're using the managed Apple ID. So shared iPad and managed Apple IDs. Okay, so that is the difference. Okay, so if for a shared Apple ID, okay, so iCloud, these are all the disabled settings. Okay, if you have a shared iPod, you cannot change all of this. Okay, so it's signed out. Okay, it is you don't even have an iCloud account. So because it's a shared iPad, you'll not be able to do all of this because it's disabled. Shared iPad disabled settings is this. Okay, and next, all of this. Okay, control center, auto log, brightness. These are all the restrictions, I'd say limitations when you have a shared Apple ID. Okay, like these are all personal configurations on those Apple iPads. And if it's a shared iPad, everyone will have different things. Okay, someone will adjust little bit sound. Okay, someone will not put as disturb, someone will set screen time, auto lock. All of this should not be configurable. Okay, it should be a standard settings that the shared Apple ID already comes with default. Okay, so users cannot change it. Okay, you use the iPad and just give it, and you do your work, and then none of the things can be changed. Okay. Okay. So now managed Apple ID, yes, you create your managed Apple ID here manually if at all you want it. And then this is how you federate with different things. Okay. So you can have your domain, you can have your Microsoft account. Okay. All of this, you can just click on accounts, add a domain. Okay. And then verify your domain. Okay, that is a global administrator if you are asked. Okay, so you verified is the ownership and federation not enabled. You need to click this and this becomes federation is now enabled. So you connected ABM to your Azure AD account. Okay, from here. So this is the management settings that you can use for shared iPad. Okay, once you create your ADE token, like now in the profile, and in that management settings, once you click on enroll with user affinity and then supervised logged enrollment, the shared iPad part, you need to click on yes. Okay. And now you see maximum cached users is 10. On the screenshot, it is 10. It means that 10 people can log in and their data will be there already in the iPad. If the 11th person logs in, the first user, the last, no, what do you say? The last signed in user. When I say last signed in, the old signed in user will be deleted. Okay. And then it will make space for the 11th user. Okay. All these like maximum seconds of inactivity until user session logs out, sync with computers. Okay. So allow all and then apply device name template. You can apply the device name template also, which means that, serial number and then device type, which will be shared, which will be iPad. Okay. So device, the name of the device in the Intune console will now going forward for this profile would be the serial number of the device dash iPad dash shared iPad. That's how it is. So we'll see the walkthrough, which is nothing but a video. Okay, I'll play this video. You can see. Okay, this is the ultimate way to understand. Okay, so what you have on the left hand is the Intune console. What you have right hand is the ABM console. Okay, so I'm just playing this. Check what are the steps that they are going through. So he goes to iPad enrollment. Same thing yesterday, what we said, add enrollment token, click on agree, download the public key. And then you see this downloads the public key. And then he comes to this portal. In this portal, he will now click on device management. In the device management, you see now he will enter one MDM name and then choose the file that he has downloaded here. Okay. We'll give enter name as test MDM. I'll click on choose a file. And then the one that he just downloaded will click on enter, create save file. And now you'll get a token. He'll download a token. Click, see this button here, download the token. Because we need to enter here. See, this is asking Apple token here. So we download the token here. But by the way, what is he doing is also assigning this device to this thing. Okay. So we'll see. And now that device is, this device he has assigned to this one. Okay. Now he'll come back here, click on one device for this here, download token. He'll enter that username here. Click on download token and then upload here. Okay, so that's all you have here. There's nothing more than that. Okay, now click on devices. He'll synchronize it. The one that he has assigned, it will come up here. Okay, you see this device is now come up here. And for this, you need to assign a profile that you create. So that's all. Okay. Now go to devices. So, Now the end user part. English connects to the internet. As soon as it connects to the internet, you need to enter the Wi-Fi password here. Yeah, Wi-Fi is now connected. And now the remote management starts. Click on next here. Configure iPad. Okay. Sign in with your Apple ID. This is where the Apple ID is already known. Okay. We'll see the next video. And the password two-factor authentication is coming. Yeah. So as you can see, Apple ID is company name itself is Apple ID. Okay. Because we did not really enter anything. Okay. And now, as you can see, this is a shared mode, right? See what is that? She actually signs out. Okay. As you can see, once you lock the screen, there is a button called sign out here. If you click sign out, she will be signed out. Okay. See, it's saying signing out, but it's saving documents. And now you see another user can log in or the guest user can log in. Again, guest can be enabled or disabled. Guest, if you click on, nothing happens. It just doesn't ask for a password. And this one is a new user sign in. If you click on that, it will become a new user sign. Another user can log in. Okay. And this is a guest user sign. Okay. So as you can, the reason why they come here is it is showing you there is nothing to enter here. It is not belonging to anyone. It's a guest user sign in. And again, now we'll sign out. End session, click sign out. As you can see, there's already default user. And now a new user will be created. A new user is entering the screen now. Okay, so signing in the screen. So here and now Apple ID for Kerlin. As you can see, this is the difference if it's an Apple ID that was created and Apple ID that is federated. If you see the screen login.microsoft.online.com, it is an Azure AD login. This is now getting federated, which means that it is contacting your Azure AD. Once you authenticate it, a managed Apple ID will be created for this account here. Okay. As you can see, this is a not Apple screen. This is a Microsoft Azure AD screen. So click on yes. And now that itself is a managed Apple ID now, right? You just need to, just like that, okay, we need to select screen and then enroll now the device. And this is the password for iPad, okay? So normal device passcode. So enter device passcode, verify, and then done, okay? So as you can see, once you click on get started, if you click on settings, you'll see that particular, means for guests, you did not really have anything. But as you can see here, this has this name, which is nothing but the company name itself, which is your corporate account. Okay. So that is how it is. So there's nothing changed. Okay. So now, without user affinity is shared iPad. You can see there, right? This is without affinity is a shared iPad. What we need to select, because we don't have any shared iPads at all. Okay. So it's just a best practices part. Okay. Be aware of selecting large number of cached users. Okay. And then if an error is encountered during enrollment, reset the device and try enrollment again. If you are able to reproduce it on all the iPads, and then it must be an issue. Keep the AD token up to date. Keep renewing every 1 year. Same goes with APNS certificate also, renewing every 1 year. Okay. This anyways, it's a pure document that we have. I'll share this PPT for you. you can actually check that. Okay. So, any other questions that you have for today?
Hi Raj, this is Sarath here, Raj.
Yeah, Sharath.
Uh, can we get the recording sessions of these sessions? I know you told
Yes.
that.
Yes, I think most of you all already have. I will see in the same group, right? You can just check. You can just drop a message. Okay. So
Okay.
Amit will arrange. Okay. So you just need to drop your Gmail account. Okay.
Mhm.
So we can collect all of the Gmail account. He can share the recordings and I can share the all the PPTs that we discussed session. Okay. So I'll share it by tomorrow. I'll just verify what is there, what is not there. Everything I'll drop that in a
Mhm.
folder. I'll update that in a message. You can verify it in your week's time. And if people have not attended any of the sessions, you can just, if possible, you can go through all those videos, PPTs and all. You can come up with any questions in the next week. Okay. So because next week will be our last classes that we have. Any questions, any topics that you need to cover, please let me know in advance. We just have the 3.5 hours. 3 hours or 2 hours, you can say, because 2 hours I want to cover something else. I'm just talk generally. Okay.
What about the Mac devices? That will also we will cover.
So Mac, uh, see, Mac was never a part of this because if I start taking Mac, it'll be another 5 hours, right? So, but so always Apple, iPad, and iOS was the only thing. Now tell me what exactly you want in Mac. Enrollment is anyways same like iOS and iPads, right? So there's nothing more than that. If you have used iPhone and iPad, so Mac is not really a different thing.
Okay, the same like that device restriction and everything we can provide, correct?
Whatever is applicable, it will show up in the console. Yes. So for the way technically how it actually works is Intune is not doing anything, or VMware Workspace is not doing anything. Yeah. So let me tell you what how Apple concept itself work. So,
One more thing, is it possible to that Apple TV, is it possible to use this Intune also for that one?
let's check. What is it? Apple TV.
Yeah, Apple TV.
Let's check when I don't know. So someone asked a question. We are looking to do digital signage using Apple TV, which was great in JAMF. From everything I reviewed, Intune does not handle TV OS. Nothing scheduled in Intune. Okay. So this Andy Bowen is a Microsoft employee, I think. So he did not. He said at the moment it's not supported. Okay. But if you need that support, you need to click here, feedback.microsoft.com, and then you will see whether you want the people might be asking. Okay, provide support for TV Apple OS. Okay, so as you can see, 124 ports. So based on these, they add features. If everyone wants it, they will definitely add, because if you click on Intune and if you look at the most ports, if you click on most ports, so these are the things that people wanted. Okay. So missing support for Apple iBoard rapid response software updates, provide support for TV Apple. So this is the third highest feature that we have. They might support. And if you look at this, click on open. This is official Microsoft response. Let's see what they have done. I think we need to sign into command. What is the response? Okay, I think they have announced, but they have not put a date on it. It's based on the comment. Okay. Apple released its first rapid. Okay, this is a rapid thing. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so we'll just check. What is Apple TV? Okay, they did not put a response for Apple TV. Okay, no one commented it, so we don't know what is the status on that. Okay, this is the only things that they actually look at it. Okay, 40% of the feature updates that they release based on this feedbacks. Okay, the other 20 or 30% that they release the features, right? They work with the top 100 enterprise customers. Whatever they want, they keep adding those features. And these are all the things that people wanted. Okay? Some of the admins wanted. Okay, so generally, I'm sorry that I mean actually this is considered less, but the top 100 companies' feedback is what is implemented first and taken priority. All of these is comes secondary for them. Okay, they themselves have the limited team. Okay, so they cannot really add everything in one day. So based on this, okay, so many things got resolved. Okay, so many things people wanted, so many features were added, and they were actually added. So the question for the reason what I am saying is here there is something called Apple Device Management MDM APIs. Okay, Apple will give you something to control. Okay, so that you can use their APIs to create profiles. Okay, they have their own MDM protocols, how to implement device management, what are the commands, what are the check-ins, how users should be enrolling the device. See, this is not Intune document, this is Apple's document. Whatever they provide, you can do it. There's nothing additional, you can actually do it. What I say is, if there are 10, 20 features that are supported in Mac OS, Microsoft will come and say, these are the 20 features that can be pushed from Intune. VMware AirWatch will not come and say, I can do 21. They can maximum do 20. Yeah. Same thing goes to JAMF. If they're using JAMF, they can only push 20 controls or less than that. Okay, but not more than what Apple provides. So same thing goes, all these top 4-5 companies, they are up to date. Okay, so whatever APIs and whatever commands they released, Intune will support. So everything is similar actually. There's nothing more when it comes to Mac OS. There are two things. Instead of BitLocker, they have a firewall and the automatic enrollment logging like autopilot. Instead of that, they have something called as platform SSO. Okay. Probably this is something very, very, very advanced and new things. Platform SSO and Intune is recently released. It's still coming. As you can see, it's still coming soon. Okay. So what it actually happens in the Mac laptop, instead of single sign-on extension, which signs in all of your Azure AD applications, this will also be a native this will also be an identity provider. Okay. Same like what I explained in a shared iPad, right? Sorry, the federation part. Even this is also how it works. A bit of complicated to even understand and set up. Okay, but this is the most awaited feature when it comes to Mac OS thing. Okay, so platform SSO is not again Intune created. Okay, this is Apple created again. You are taking that and then creating. Okay, so the platform SSO is your extension for single sign-on and your SSO based on your IDP. So in our case, our IDP is Azure AD. Some might have Okta, some might have other federated services. But this is a kind of a revolution. That's all I can say. Okay, so but there's more to it. Okay, it's not 100% released. Testing is one. Those are the only two things that differs because those are Mac OS. There's a encryption and the other one is a single sign-on extensions. Rest everything is simple, same thing. Okay, same device restrictions, same control, same disables, same compliance policies, enrollment restrictions, enrollment things also. Okay, no prerequisites. If you are able to set up iPhone and iOS, Mac also works. There's nothing more created into it. Okay, I think I'll have to stop here. Okay, this recording is again used by another session at 6 o'clock. If you all have any questions, anything, please feel free to message me. I'm not sure. I missed many messages from many batches and other things because I was out on a business trip, little bit busy. I just came on Friday, Saturday morning. Okay, and I'll try to respond to all of the missed messages. And I also see someone asked credentials. I'll share that to them. And any questions? Yeah, please do ask next week. Okay.
What credentials, Rajesh?
Sorry.
What was the credentials that you were talking about, please?
Okay. They want. I mean, I think someone wanted this Intune credentials. They want to look at their environment.
Yeah, I'm the one who asked it.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
So in this batch, okay. Sorry, Shrikant, no?
Yeah,
Okay, Shrikant.
yeah. Okay, sure.
Okay. So I'll just respond. Okay. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you.